Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Town Square Tableau. I'm Vin Ebenu here with Kari Lefebvre, a former high school classmate of mine and swimming competitor. And we're here today to talk about some high school sports, just one of the many athletes and coaches that are speaking with us on the state of high school sports today. But particularly with Kari, we're going to talk about what it was like to play high school sports and what it's like looking back on things now and how things have maybe changed over the last several years or so. Graduated in 2010, so I know it's not that far away, although sometimes it seems like now that we're in our mid-20s that it's a little different. Does it seem like it was that long ago where you were playing high school sports and swimming in the pool?
I guess and no. I mean, sometimes, because I took it into college, it feels like it was just yesterday, and then other times it's like, oh my gosh, like that was that long ago that I was competing for the high school. So yeah, it's a yes and no type of thing.
Do you miss it much at all?
Oh my gosh, all the time. I absolutely love my sport, miss it, wish I could still be doing it.
What are some of the things you miss the most about it? Because I know you told me previously that it was a big part of your high school career, your high school life. What made it so impactful to you being in high school?
I think with swimming, that I was pretty quiet in high school, and it really brought me out of my shell per se, and just the team aspect. I mean, the camaraderie, all that stuff. So.
What about that? Do you think that team camaraderie, I guess, helps all high school athletes who maybe were in your situation or who are, you know, the social butterfly of sorts, I guess, and they kind of come together with this team? Do you think that builds a closer unit? Or how close were you and the other girls in the swim team?
It definitely close. I mean, because you're working together for like the same goal. You all want to, you know, do your best and do your best for each other and for yourself. So I think it definitely builds that closeness. You know, you're together so much. I mean, we'd have some practices like early in the morning, and to be up and about with these people at such an early hour and still be happy, having fun. It says a lot.
And that was, how many days a week were you typically practicing in high school with swimming?
So in high school it was a daily thing, Monday to Friday. I'm trying to think if we had weekend practices. Sometimes we'd have something maybe like once on the weekend, once in a while, but Monday through Friday.
What were some of the conditioning drills or practices like? I mean, because to be in the pool for that amount and to race and, you know, to be at your best, was there a lot of lifting involved or was there a lot of running?
They didn't really make us run too much because I guess the common thing is swimmers don't run, which isn't always true, but there was definitely like a lifting component, a core component was big. We would do some spinning as kind of like a dry land type training, so there was like a cross training aspect with it, and then you'd be in the pool for over an hour, depending on kind of what you were working on in a day. Some days it'd be sprints, some days it'd be distance, kicking, pulling, really depended on the day.
What were some of the races that you were in specifically? What did you do back in high school?
So I was a sprint freestyler. Started out with a 50 and 100, and then senior year they put me in the 200, and that's been like a love-hate of mine for ever since then. So.
How soon did it take you to get into the varsity level? I know you were varsity for a while. When did you?
So it's funny. I started swimming when I was a freshman, and I kind of picked it up pretty quickly. I don't know if that's because I took swim lessons when I was 4 and threw a fit every time, so my mom's like, okay, you know how to swim, you keep your head above water if you were to, God forbid, ever fall in. I picked it up pretty quickly freshman year and started doing, you know, Y swim clinics in the spring and the fall, and then by sophomore year I was at the varsity level. I was on the relays, I was, you know, up there. It was a pretty quick kind of turnaround, so.
Did your mom have a lot to do with you deciding to swim or go into swimming growing up and into high school and beyond for your love of swimming, or what was your inspiration as to why you wanted to get into swimming?
My parents definitely helped push it. So I guess the reason I decided to go out for the team in high school is because one day we were at a family friend's barbecue and I was racing around in the pool. I always loved the water. We grew up at the beach, lived over on Chadwick Island, and you know, I was racing around in the pool, and one of the kid's parents, the kid actually swam, was like, oh, how long's Kari been racing for? And I was like, she hasn't, she doesn't compete. And he's like, oh my gosh, she has to. So they kind of pushed me towards it, and when the opportunity in high school came about, I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I've always loved the water, and kind of just went from there.
Now, where did that high school career ended up taking you after high school was done? Do you still do swimming now, and what happened right after?
So after high school, I went on to Ramapo College in New Jersey, and I swam there all 4 years. and it was cool because I continued to improve, which was awesome. And I mean, now I don't, race or anything. I kind of wish I did, but it's a lot of time. And, there's just tons going on. So it's still like a good exercise. If I can get in the pool, I will. But mainly in the summer, you'll find me like in the ocean or,
So the competitive days are done, but you just like to do it recreationally still?
Yeah, I mean, if you challenge me to a competition, I'm always going to take it. I'm pretty competitive, especially when it comes to swimming. So, and even still, you put me in the water and I'll happily do laps of butterfly or freestyle, back and forth, so.
Do you feel that drive and that as a competitor has kind of helped you outside of swimming as to what you're doing now with your life?
100%. Everything that I took from swimming, I can transfer over into actual, like, real life, so.
So where did the post-swimming life end up taking you?
So the post-swimming life, I finished college, which meant swimming was over, went straight into grad school, did that for 2 years, got a full-time job, and I'm here.
I know you said you missed it a little bit, but do you still get in the pool a lot now? I mean, during the summer, do you still race yourself or still remember the old tricks of what you did in the pool back then, some of the old moves or anything? Do you still race yourself?
I do. If I have the opportunity, I will. Definitely, especially if there's like a lap pool around. Most pools are like small, but if the opportunity presents itself, I will take it.
No, going back, where did you swim a lot of your meets back in high school? Was it at Ocean County College or was it somewhere else?
A lot of the meets were all at the OCY, so.
Now, what was it like? I mean, football games have their rivalries on the field, baseball, basketball, swimming. What were swimming meets like? What was the atmosphere like back then, especially if you were going up against Toms River North, being at Toms River East? Were there any extra intensity added to rivalry meets?
Absolutely. Rivalry meets, I mean, you would go all out. I mean, always pasta parties the night before, but you would make sure you went all out. That day in school, you'd go all out with what you were wearing. Could be something wacky. And then just the energy in that pool, especially if you knew it was going to be a close meet, the energy was just there. Like you could feel it in the air, and those were the meets that were always, I think, the most fun. Even whether you won or lost, those were definitely some of the best meets.
I know some athletes, whatever sport it is, some say they hear the fans, some say they don't because they're blocking it out and focusing on the race or the meet or whatever. Did you ever hear your parents or friends, family, or the other side, the other fans on the other team kind of yelling and arguing in the pool? I mean, I'm sure that the pool hall can get pretty loud.
It can get pretty loud because it is an enclosed space. Yes, I do recall times where, especially when you come into the wall to do a flip turn, where I would hear people like yelling, go, go, go. But once I'm in the water, like on a straightaway before a turn, it's kind of just me in my own head. So
it's really just a focus on, hey, here's what I have to do to finish the race.
But the cheering definitely helps. You can hear it.
When you're in the water, do you see the other girls and what they're doing and say, all right, well, maybe I have to pick it up a notch to swim by them?
Absolutely. That's kind of how I learned how to swim the 200 free. This was in college, but the girls next to me, it was kind of how I paced it, because you have to pace that race. So yeah, and it definitely gives you that push to see someone if they're close to you, coming up next to you. So it kind of also depends what side you breathe to.
What are some of the things you ate before a race or the night before? Like, were they all healthy things or just snacky things to give you energy? Or?
Oh my gosh, what didn't I eat when I was a swimmer? The great thing about swimming is you worked out so hard and burned so many calories. So, I mean, pasta parties, it was pasta, it was chicken, but it was also desserts and snacks. So it was everything.
And you felt fine the next day when you were in your race? Or?
Yeah, I totally felt fine. One of my race rituals, I guess it was senior year, I'd always have for lunch / really early dinner, because meets were at night. It was a salmon, stuffed crab, pinwheel type of thing. It was it was small, but that seemed to be my thing senior year. I was like, this is gonna make me swim fast.
So it wasn't necessarily building strength, just building energy.
Yeah.
If you had to do anything again, I know you had a really great time and you were really good back, high school, college with swimming. Would there be anything you would do again, or if you had the chance to go back into high school tomorrow, would you go back and do swimming all over again?
110%. I would absolutely swim again. In terms of anything differently, I think I would have probably done a little more research on lifting, because when I got into college, like, that helped so much once you got into like a really good lifting program. And just nutrition overall, because that plays so much into it. If you're not eating enough, it's going to affect your times. If you're eating too much, you're going to feel sluggish. Kind of like getting that balance in. So.
What about some of today's high school kids? I mean, whether it's, you know, I mean, I love to watch the Olympics, especially the swimming. So, I mean, that's kind of another way I learned to swim myself. But do you feel that a lot of kids are paying attention to that, or are there any differences from when you were in high school swimming to maybe what you're seeing today? I don't know how many meets you're attending of high school kids today, but do you see a lot of changes in the last several years?
I think, I mean, everyone is definitely getting a lot faster. Like, I look back at some of, because I still have like the meet program and stuff like that, when I'm cleaning out my room, I'll come across them. And I'll look at some of the times and I'll be like, oh my gosh, because those times that would have gotten you into like a final, not even close today. So I think kids are definitely getting faster, and I don't know if that's because they're starting younger, I don't know if they're training harder, but definitely it's a faster sport.
What was your favorite race, your favorite meet, or whether it was in high school that maybe meant the most to you, or something where you won a top prize or a top award or something like that that you remember the most about high school, something that really meant a lot to you? In
high school, I think my favorite meets were obviously the ones that I'd get like a personal best, or if I'd qualify for shores, but I always loved counties. Counties was always a lot of fun. You know, you tapered, you shaved down, you were ready to go, like in a fast skin tech suit. Those were fun meets, counties and shores, but counties I'd say more so than shores, because that was, you know, the whole team. What would your piece of advice be to any boy or girl heading into the water now, growing up, or especially in high school now? What would your piece of advice be to have them succeed or be able to do the best that they can swimming in the water in high school? I think have a passion for it. I mean, if it's something you really enjoy, go for it. Always push yourself, work hard in the pool and out of the pool, because a big part of it was keeping grades up. If you didn't keep your grades up, you weren't doing your sport. So I think that's the other piece that people kind of forget. When it comes to being an athlete, you're still a student athlete. So. Kari, thanks for the time. Thanks for coming in today to talk about all the swimming days, and good luck in the pool for any future events you have in the backyard. Thank you so much. That's Kari Lefebvre. I'm Vin Ebenu for another edition of Town Square Tableau. For more on this, head over to WOBM.com.